The University of Minnesota lies at the heart of this great state. Among the country's largest, one of the nation's premier institutions, and a charter member of the Big Ten Conference, Golden Gopher pride runs deep. Golden Gopher basketball also has a rich and proud tradition. The venerable Williams Arena is one of college basketball's most storied venues. From Sweet Lou Hudson to Kevin McHale and Michael Thompson, from Trent Tucker to Andre Holland, the barn has seen countless talented players leave their mark in Gopher history. Today, a new era of Golden Gopher basketball begins. The next chapter of Minnesota hoops will be written by us. This is Golden Gopher basketball.
Thank you very much for coming out this morning. It's a great turnout. We are here to announce the newest members of the University of Minnesota family, Coach Pitino and his wife Jill. In just a moment, President Kaler will come up and help us introduce the coach. After that, Athletic Director Norwood Teague will have a few remarks, followed by Coach Pitino. Then we'll be taking questions. Wait for a microphone to come to you, and then you can ask. We're going to be on television and radio, so please remember to announce your name, where you're from, and who the question's for. With that, I will introduce President Kaler.
Good morning. Good morning, and thank you for being here for this very exciting introduction of our new men's basketball coach, Richard Pitino. I'm pleased we're joined today by Regents Beeson, Devine, and Omari to welcome the newest members of our Gopher family. I think a successful search is one in which you get the right person in the right job with the right skills at the right time, and we have done that. The university, our student athletes, and Gopher fans everywhere scored big in the hiring of Coach Pitino. He will bring inspiration, energy, and passion to our program, and he will develop our student athletes on this Williams court and in the classroom. Thank you, Norwood Teague, David Benedict, Mike Ellis, and others in Gopher Athletics for your great work. Last night, I met and interviewed Richard and had dinner with him and Jill. I was sorry that Ava couldn't make the trip, but I look forward to meeting her soon and introducing her to Goldie. We have the right guy at the right place, and I'm excited to help welcome Richard and Jill to Minnesota. Thanks for being here.
Thank you all for coming out to meet our new men's basketball coach. Please welcome Richard Pitino and his wife Jill to the University of Minnesota. I look forward to seeing what Richard can do and how he will affect our program, our student athletes, and our community. From the beginning, I stated our search goals were threefold and what we wanted. We wanted a relentless recruiter. We wanted someone to develop our student athletes both on and off the court. And thirdly, we wanted someone who would manage and build this program to the highest level, and Coach Pitino fits all of those. A year ago, Coach Pitino arrived at Florida International University. He had 3 scholarship players on his roster. During the season, he had 5 scholarship players that he played with, yet his team won 18 games. It was the first winning season since 1999 at that university, and he took his team to the conference championship game, an amazing feat. We expect to see progress under Coach Pitino, but we know it cannot happen overnight. We need to give him the resources to win, and we need to give him the time to build his program here. He is the right fit for this job, and I could not be more happy. Welcome, Richard and Jill.
Thank you. Thank you very much for all the kind words, President Kaler and Norwood. I'm extremely excited about this opportunity. Minnesota basketball's got one of the best traditions in all of college basketball. It certainly has one of the best home courts as well in Williams Arena. Very passionate fan base, a great university, and a great conference. So I truly believe the sky is the limit here. I'm extremely excited. Just met with the team and just talked to them about my vision a little bit and how we're going to go about doing it. They seem excited, so we're really going to get going, moving forward very quickly, and try to get this thing off to the right foot. So I appreciate it. This is a great opportunity, and I can't tell you how excited I am. Our style of play is going to be fun for you to watch. I think you guys will really enjoy it. It's going to be thank you. It'll be a lot of pressing. Certainly, we're going to press on every possession, on every make. We're going to try to create offense from our defense. It's going to be a style that the kids love to play. It's going to be something where we put a lot of stock into conditioning, being physically in shape as well as mentally in shape. So it's going to be a great brand of basketball. I think you guys will really enjoy it, and I cannot wait to get started. So thank you.
Thank you, Coach. All right, now we'll take questions from the media. If you want to raise your hand, we'll get a microphone to you.
Jim Suham from Minneapolis Star Tribune. Norwood, could you identify when you thought Richard was your top candidate? And Richard, when did you get to a point where you wanted this job or thought of this as a possibility?
We had a search process that, talked to a variety of candidates, and Richard was always on my list. And we went through a search that we wanted to go through. We had it planned out, and we executed. Time frames, I think, going forward here, I have been in a whirlwind the last 10 days, so I don't know if I can get pinned down on time frames because I probably will say something incorrectly, but it went very well. We were very pleased with the search, and it unfolded just like we wanted it.
Yeah, to kind of piggyback off of what he said, I mean, certainly when the opportunity to potentially be the coach at Minnesota basketball came up, I was extremely excited, extremely persistent about it. I knew I wanted the job, certainly because I know how great this place is. But more importantly, I think what's special about this place is the people. I think that he's one of the best athletic directors in the country. I've been fortunate enough to work for Tom Jurich and Jeremy Foley, two guys who are highly, highly regarded. And after talking to people like Billy Donovan, Shaka Smart, Anthony Grant, I knew that Norwood Teague was in that list. And the people is what makes the job, and that's why this place is so special.
Ed Rowan, KROC Radio, Rochester. Can you expand a bit on the opportunities you see and the challenges you see here at the University of Minnesota?
Well, I see so many opportunities. I mean, the one thing that I love about this place is the passionate fan base. Anytime you have an opportunity to play in Williams Arena, which is one of the most historic arenas in the country and one of the most passionate fan bases in the country, I think the sky's the limit for this place. I really do. We've got to do a great job of recruiting. It always starts with that. You're playing in the best conference in college basketball, and you're playing at one of the best universities. You're going to school at one of the best universities. So we've got a lot to sell. We've got plenty to sell through a great degree, through a great experience in college, and to play on a big stage.
Chip Scoggins right here.
Hi, Richard. Chip Scoggins, Star Tribune. When you go out recruiting, how much is your style of play a selling point?
I think it's important. I think kids like to play in this style. I think that everybody wants to play, and we're going to play a lot of guys. I think ideally every kid, for the most part out there, likes to get up and down the court because it's fun. They like to play with freedom. I think that those things fit these guys, and that's what they like to do. I've been fortunate enough to learn under two of the best coaches probably to ever coach this game, and I've taken a lot of what they do, and it's worked very well over many, many years, and it's put guys in positions to play for many, many years, and I think that's what the selling point will be.
Richard, Bob Sansar from the Pioneer Press in St. Paul. Will you be going after all three of the top junior recruits, Tyus Jones, Rashad Vaughn, and Travis Reed, and have you reached out to them already? What's your game plan for going after them?
Well, I can't comment on recruits. I will say this about recruiting. It's very important when you have a state university like Minnesota to constantly develop relationships within the state the right way. We will certainly do our best to recruit all the best players in the country because we've got a lot to be proud of here.
Richard, Dave Campbell with the AP. How did you sell yourself to Norwood?
Well, it was, I don't think it was as much when I spoke to him. It was not me selling myself, and it wasn't him selling himself. It was a very comfortable process. It was more, I think, with Norwood, it was we got to get the right fit, and we got to get a guy who can work together, and he really is one of the best ADs in the country. So I was more not selling myself. I was just so excited that I had the opportunity to talk to him about it.
Sid right here and then over here.
How does it feel to replace a legend like Tubby Smith? That's a question for you. And Mr. Athletic Director, you're supposed to be the biggest genius in basketball, and it took you forever to get a replacement.
Well, the first part, I'll let him answer the genius part, but
he said it, not me.
Replacing Tubby Smith, I have a lot of respect for Tubby from growing up and knowing him, knowing his family. I think he's a phenomenal coach. He's a great person. I really love him dearly, and he's always been so good to me, and his family has as well. Replacing him, I've got so much respect for him. He's had an unbelievable career, and I know he'll do great at Texas Tech. He's built a very solid foundation here, one in which it's going to be fun to get, continue to build, but he's left us a very solid foundation.
And just in response to the search, we ran the search that we wanted to run. I said from the beginning we wanted to hustle but not be in a hurry. These things take time. It's a search. You go meet with people, you talk to people, you try to get the right fit. And I know there was a lot of people that were mentioned in the media or just on message boards and whatnot, and I made a lot of offers that I didn't know I made to a lot of candidates I didn't know I met with. But it's a search. It's a search. And when you do that, you go out and you think and you execute your plan. And most of these things take time. I thought it was actually probably going to take a little bit longer. But if anything, the only pressure that I felt was just pressure from people wanting it to hurry along. But that's not smart. It's not smart to do that.
Mark Long in the middle. Oh, sorry.
I'm
Go
sorry,
ahead.
Mark, and then Chris.
Mark Rosen, WCCO TV, KFAN. Richard, what's it been like for you to carve out your own name, your own career in the shadow of a very famous father, and the challenges and the obstacles and the motivation you have to do this your way?
Well, I'm very proud of my father. They ask me all the time, is it tough being Rick Pitino's son? And it's not. I'm extremely proud to be his son. I'm extremely fortunate to be his son. I embrace it every single day. I would be silly to hide from it. He's a legend in this game. He's changed the game in many, many ways. He's had people who have worked under him who have changed the game. So I'm extremely proud of him. I embrace it very much. As for the second part of just doing it my own way, I think it's fun. I really enjoyed it. I mean, to coach last year and run my own program. And when you work under two guys like Billy Donovan and Rick Pitino, you've got to make some decisions because those are two legends who do it a little differently. So I had to figure out what worked for me, and that was really the biggest obstacle.
Chris and then Charlie.
Chris Long from KSTP Television. When you were plotting out your career, did you expect that you would be a major conference coach at your current age?
You know, I never really thought about it, just because you never know, especially in sports, where things will turn. I really just worried about one day at a time. I was excited about what we were building at FIU. And when I worked at Louisville and Florida and Duquesne and Northeastern, I just embraced it day by day. I really didn't look towards the future. The fact that I'm sitting here now is a dream come true, and it's something that I'm really going to relish.
Richard, Charlie Walters, St. Paul Pioneer Press. Did you have other opportunities to coach besides Minnesota since Florida International, and if so, what were they?
No, Florida International was the only thing, and then Minnesota came up. So I was just so excited about it when he called, because I know the type of people they have here, and like I said before, you can't do it alone, and I know that we all get the same vision.
No, I'm sorry, Nate Numba.
Nate Sandell, 1500 ESPN to Norwood. How much did your previous relationship with Billy Donovan play into convincing you that Richard was your guy?
You know, I've talked to Billy not only in just searches that I've done in the past, but just in general. I've been fortunate enough to be involved, I guess, in his tree with Anthony and Shaka and being with them. So, you know, it's very important to me to reach out to Billy and to kind of get his pulse on what's going on. Billy told me a funny story about Richard's preparation. He said that, I don't know if I should share this. I think I told him I wouldn't, but I will anyway. He said there's two people that Rick Pitino, during his time as a head coach, has put unmerciful and relentless pressure on while they were his assistant coaches. One was Billy, and two was Richard. And I think that shows, and Billy even said this, we were laughing about it, it shows how prepared he is to be a head coach because of that, because it prepared Billy the same way.
Richard, when you heard about this job opening, did you think this is a job I want, and did you talk to Billy and say, hey, anything you can do for me, or were you tempted to make a call yourself to Norwood?
When this job opened, you know, I certainly was hoping an opportunity could present itself, because I believe this is one of the best jobs in college basketball. It was something where I just knew about the tradition. I knew about the fan base. I knew about the quality of the university and how good it was. I knew how much it meant to the state of Minnesota. So the fact that I was even being considered was a dream come true. You know, I'm excited. I can't tell you how excited I am to be here.
I'm Amelia Reno, Minneapolis Star-Tribune. Richard, with a few scholarships available for next season, are you looking to bring in some guys right away, or are you setting your sights more toward 2014?
Well, we're looking to get the right fit. We're not just going to go try to fill scholarships. I don't think that's the right way to do things. We'll watch a lot of film over the next couple of days, and I watch them play and see what the needs are. And then we'll go out recruiting and see if something fits those needs. But only if it's the right fit will we do that.
Sorry, Marcus.
Marcus Fuller, St. Paul Pioneer Press. Richard, can you just talk about the challenges of this position? Obviously, a Hall of Fame coach, Tubby Smith, you know, was fired from this job, but he reached the NCAA tournament with a win. The fan base expects, you know, more than, you know, 3 NCAA tournaments in 6 years. It's been a while since they won a Big Ten championship.
My expectations, I think when you take over a program, is not to look towards the past as you build towards the future. My expectations are to take it day by day, to build a culture of work, of hard work. You know, I'll take it one day at a time. I think that's the way that you build a program, and I don't think you put long-term goals into it. I believe that if these guys reach the goals that we want to do on a daily basis of working extremely hard, playing together, acting the right way, doing the right things in the classroom as well as on campus and off the court, then I think those things take care of themselves.
Dave Schwartz, KARE 11 TV. Rich, do you find that being a younger coach is a benefit to you when working with the kids? And Norwood, was youth a quality that you were looking for when you were looking for a head coach?
Well, I mean, you know, I certainly embrace the fact that I'm young. You know, I don't try to hide from it. I've had great relationships with my players at FIU. I have still great relationships with the players at Louisville and Florida. So we go about it a different way. I mean, the one thing I always said is I don't try to be Rick Pitino. I don't try to be Billy Donovan. I just try to be myself, and I embrace it.
You know, the youth thing was not something that we set out in the search that was a must. But I'll be honest with you, after we've talking to Richard, I thought it was an asset, and it was definitely a plus in the end.
Tyler Mason, FoxSportsNorth.com. Richard, how much did you talk with your dad when considering the job, and what did he say to you when you were hired here?
Oh, it wasn't really a long conversation. I think he said, "Are you crazy?" And that was really the end of it. So we didn't need to talk much over. The fact that I had this opportunity, there wasn't much thinking.
Right here, and then Dave.
Coach Jay Ingber from Gopherhold.com. What do you look for in a coaching staff when you're looking for assistants and team personnel, and what experience you have from Florida International that you're going to take here as far as the people you look to hire?
Well, I think when you build a staff, I want to have guys that are, hopefully better than me. Hopefully guys that have pushed me every single day, live and die with this program. Recruiting is a very important piece to this. I like to have guys who are just going to work extremely hard for the benefit of the University of Minnesota and just live and breathe, eat, sleep basketball. That's kind of the goal. So I'm not sure what direction I'm going to head with that yet. But with that being said, we're going to bring in a bunch of highly motivated people who could be great assets to this program and make everybody better.
Chip, and then Don.
Yeah, Richard, what kind of assurances did Norwood give you in regards to a practice facility and having toured this arena now? How important is that?
Well, when I look around this place, we've got plenty to win and to win at a high level. The practice facility will come, and when it does, it'll be great. But we can still, there's so much here that we can use to our advantage and sell. You're going to get one of the best degrees in the country. You're going to play in the best fan base in the country. You're going to play in one of the best arenas. So we worry about what we have right now, and then we'll worry about what we don't have later.
Hi, Richard. Dawn Mitchell, Fox 9. My question to you is, after the whole Isaiah Thomas issue at FIU, and you came in and cleaned it up, what is perhaps the biggest challenge that you overcame down there that you bring forward into this position?
Well, I took over. It was a pretty tough situation just because a lot of guys probably in the first week, I think we had 6, don't quote me on it, but guys either transfer or drop out or whatever it may be. And we had at the time only 3 eligible scholarship players. So it was a little scary because with the rules and the signing period, you don't have a lot of time to replace those guys. So we had to use previous relationships to acquire some of those guys and get them to come, and we were fortunate to do it. The one thing that we did was we brought in kids who fit the style of play, and I think that's why they flourished. That's the most important thing. So it taught me a lot, made me better as a coach. I still have a lot of room to grow, and hopefully I continue to grow.
Richard, just to be clear, what is your preference? Richard, Rich? It doesn't seem like Rick is on the table.
Everybody, they all call me different things, so whatever works for you.
All right, and the second question is, Florida International is a stepping stone. Do you view this as a final destination, and would the hope be that when you retire, some of us would be pushing 140?
That would be, I don't know how old you are, but that would be tremendous. I won't guess. But
it's not me. It's not me.
This is absolutely the place I want to be. Me and my wife talked about it last night, just how excited we were that we can finally be the place that we hope to be for the rest of our lives and build something special. I believe this is one of the top basketball jobs in the country, and I believe University of Minnesota is one of the best universities in the country. So I'm really looking forward to building a program that competes at a very high level.
Coach, AJ Mansour, KFAN Radio. You mentioned the style of play that you are looking to implement here. When you look at the personnel that's on the team now, is that something you think you can implement right away, or is it going to take some time to get that up and running?
Well, I think it always takes time when you introduce a whole new style of play. None of these guys have played under it, so it'll take a little bit of time. With the rules now, it helps a little bit. You can work over the summer. You can work with these guys a little bit more. But it's certainly going to take time. I think any time you implement a whole new system, it'll take some time.
Ed Rowan, KROC Radio. It's very early in the process. However, are you in the position to name any of your staff?
No. I'm looking forward to building a great staff. It's extremely important to me that we get the right guys in here. So I'm going to hopefully meet with some guys this weekend and continue to just touch base with people.
Over here on the right, Jim.
Norwood, can you clear up what went on in your talks with Flip Saunders?
Jim, I'm not going to talk about any specific candidates. We talked to a handful of people. And again, the search really went well, and it progressed like we had planned. I didn't have a time frame, from the beginning. I thought it could easily have gone into the Final Four. I mean, a lot of the schools do that. We wanted to find the right fit, and I will tell you something, we did. We got really lucky with this guy, and I can't tell you how impressed I am with him, his vision, and what he wants to do here. He is the perfect fit for the University of Minnesota.
Jason Gonzalez, Minneapolis Star-Tribune. There's a lot of talk about recruiting. How much do you know about the special 2014 class? And is there any pressure to land someone from that group for your early success?
Well, I can't comment on recruiting, on certain recruits. But what I can say is, in order to build a championship program, it starts with the players. The coaches probably get a little too much credit at times. So recruiting is the number one most important thing. And myself and the staff, I got to get the right staff in place. We have a lot to sell, which is exciting. So I'm eager to start selling, what we have to offer here.
When he says he can't comment, that's an NCAA violation.
Yes. Yeah.
He can comment on the recruits. It's not.
Matt Nelson, Minnesota Broadcasters Association. Coach, you mentioned that a practice facility is just going to come. We've been hearing that for 6 years. It hasn't happened. What can you do to get some donors cutting some checks on this practice facility?
Well, here's what I can tell you about it, and it's certainly something we're excited about pursuing. But Norwood Teague just got here 9 months ago. 9 months ago, and you're looking at one of the top ADs in the country. So I've got a full belief and confidence in him that he's going to get that done. There's zero doubt in my mind. Now, with the time being now, we've got plenty to offer. And we'll worry about that later, and that'll be a great asset as well. But we've got enough here now just sitting in Williams Arena to sell.
Coach, Andrew Kramer with the Minnesota Daily. Recruit like Alvin Ellis requests a release from his national letter of intent. Are you looking to go after guys like that were in a previous recruiting class, or are you looking to set up your own?
I'm just looking for the right fit. I don't think it necessarily matters what it may be. We'll go recruiting this month. You're allowed a certain number of days where you can go out and evaluate. And if there's something there that fits what we want to do and fits our needs, we will certainly try very hard to get them here. So that's really what we're looking at. We're looking more at the right fit and the right type of person as well as player.
On the left over here. Jay Ingber, Gopherhold.com. Coach, I don't want you to commit any NCAA violations, but getting back to recruiting, as a young coach, in the country, as one of the youngest coaches in the country, what are some of the challenges you face getting into the homes of these families as far as convincing them why you're the coach to lead them through their college careers?
Well, I think every job is challenging. I've worked at some great places and fortunate to be here now. There's no easy job. So it's a challenge for everybody. With that being said, I'm very confident that I can walk into these homes and sell a lot of great things. You talk about one of the best universities in the country, one of the best fan bases in the country, playing in the best conference in the country. So I've got a lot of things that I can sell. I'm very confident with that and excited about doing that.
Norwood, being that this was your first big hire as athletic director, how important was it for you, your legacy going forward, to make sure that you got the right guy?
Well, it's important not just for me, but for our fans and our university and our student body and most of all our student athletes. I didn't always look at it as, this is a huge deal for me. It's a huge deal for the university, and that was where my concern lied more than myself.
Marcus.
Marcus, Pioneer Press. Richard, talk about the Big Ten, the Midwest. I mean, it seems like your roots are more East Coast or the Florida region. What do you know about this area? And, are you going to maybe hire someone on your staff that's more familiar with Minnesota?
Well, I can tell you about the Big Ten. It has got to be the best basketball conference in the country. I think you saw that this year. What I love about it is you've got so many historic traditions, so many great universities, and so many great fan bases. So it certainly is important when getting a staff whoever it may be, that they understand that and they put us in position.
Been with the players already?
I met with them earlier today, and we probably spent about 15 minutes together. And I'm really looking forward to hopefully next week meeting with these guys individually, talking to them about my vision for them individually as well as a team, and getting to spend a lot of time with them. Unfortunately, I have not been able to do that too much just yet, but I'm really looking forward to it.
For Norwood, as you noted earlier, there were a lot of rumors swirling around before you made the hire. One of the rumors was that you wanted to be heavily involved in naming assistant coaches. How involved will you be, and are there restrictions you've put on what Richard can and can't do?
One thing that I was thrilled about in talking to Richard over the past week or so was his unbelievable network, his thoughts on who those assistants would be. You know, I know a lot of them. It really excites me on that area and what he'll do there. And, no, he will go with it. He'll run with it. And we hired a guy who, as he says to me, it's so important to get a great staff. It's so important to get a great staff. So that's thrilling to me.
In the back then, Charlie.
Coach Nick Walsh, Minnesota Sports Broadcast Network. Without going into specifics, how familiar are you with the quality of basketball in the state of Minnesota at the high school level, and have you ever recruited here in the past?
I'm very familiar with just the quality of high school basketball, AAU basketball in this state. I know that these guys are going to be well coached, prepared at the college level. That's always very important. I know how passionate these people are about basketball, and when you have that type of passion, you normally have great coaches, and that's extremely important, is to get guys who are ready to play at the college level. So I'm really, really excited to get out in the community and meet these coaches and get to know them even better.
Charlie Walter, St. Paul Pioneer Press. Richard, how do you feel about competing against your father for players, recruiting? Secondly, have you talked to Tubby Smith about the job?
I have not talked to Tubby, but I'm extremely excited to go head-to-head with my dad. You know, it's game on the way I look at it. And, you know, hopefully he fights fair, but I'm excited. I really am. He in all seriousness, he's a legend, and he's changed my life in so many ways. I'm so fortunate for him to be my father. He's one of the best. If I'm not going against him, I sure hope he's helping us as much as possible as well.
Jim and then Mark.
Richard, what do you think of the current roster, and does the fact that they have some good veteran guards already here, does that play to your strengths?
Yeah, it certainly helps. You know, it's exciting. I know we've got some very good pieces. What I'm excited about is I have not been told by one person that these guys aren't great kids. So I think when you're building a program and you're trying to put your stamp on it, the most important thing is you got to have good people who are motivated. And these guys are that. You know, to comment on certain needs, I'm not quite there yet, honestly, just because it's been a little bit of a whirlwind. But I will certainly get to watching some film and understand it even more. But I loved watching them play throughout the course of the year. I know they get some great players, and hopefully we can go out and get some more great players.
Norwood, in the course of this search, we have seen other coaches and other schools either re-up for higher prices or others leave with existing contracts to go to other schools. So as you look at Richard and want to have him here committed as long as possible, what kind of slippery slope are we on with this situation with college coaches who are so-called committed to a school, someone else comes in, sweeps them away, and next thing you know, they're wearing someone else's colors?
You know, it's a reality, but one thing that I can control is, and that is the relationship that Richard and I have. We're getting here together at the same time, essentially. I mean, I'm 9 months apart. We're going to be attached to the hip, and I will work diligently at our relationship, and I know it will be great. And I think that's the part I can control, and I think that does at times, behind the scenes, keep coaches in certain jobs. And I want him here a long time and to be ultra successful, and I will work, you know, to be a servant leader for him.
Who do we have over here? Oh, thank
Richard, Joe Christensen, Star Tribune. When you got to FIU, how would you describe the way the fan base embraced you? Was it with skepticism because you hadn't coached before, or were they excited about your background? And how do you think they kind of went along for that ride last season?
Well, the two fans who were my wife and Ava, that was really the fan base. We didn't have a very big fan base. What happened was probably our first game, we might have played in front of 100 people. And then it was great. The ride was great. They continued to get better and better and better where we were starting to pack the place. They were a lot of fun. FIU it's a different place than here because it's a new university. They've never really been great at basketball. They've only really been in existence, I think, for 30 years, the university. So I think they're really building. So it's a much different situation. But they were great. I was really fortunate to work there for President Rosenberg and Pete Garcia. They were so great to me and supported me throughout the way, as well as the fans.
Amelia?
Amelia Reno, Minneapolis Star Tribune. Richard, you talk a lot about your style already. Do you see that as a new challenge, trying to implement that in the Big Ten? We've heard Tubby talk about playing this up-tempo pressing style, and we see it a lot in non-conference, and then as you hit the Big Ten and those defenses, that kind of disappear a little bit.
Yeah, I look at it the other way. I mean, I look at how excited I am to go against those. The one thing that I think the style does is it tries to take you out of your comfort zone. And I think it's a bit of a misconception that the Big Ten is slow down basketball. I mean, I watched Indiana play. That was extremely fast-paced, as well as other programs. So I'm more excited about trying to impose our will on other programs. That's what I worry about when the style of play. We try to be as aggressive as possible.
Coach, you talk about game on with your dad. Would you like to see a rivalry or a home-and-home set up with Louisville in the near future?
I would. I wouldn't want to play him this year, certainly. So we'll wait till he loses a couple of those players. But, no, I'd love to, if he would be willing to do it. We were going to do it at FIU. And, hopefully we can do something here. I think it'd be great. It'd be fun to go against him head-to-head. And I would love to do it.
All right, I think that's what we have. Thank you all very much for coming. Fans, alumni. Sit down,